Is that video?
Hi, I'm Brian and welcome to Touhey Talks. In this episode, we'll be talking about the seating arrangement inside the aircraft at Skydive New England, the proper way to sit on the floor, seat belts, and center of gravity within the aircraft. Inside the plane here at Skydive New England, we can fit 21 skydivers. There are 7 skydivers on each bench, and then we have 7 people on the floor. When you come into the plane, you want to count how many people are on each bench so that we have 7 on each side. Just like any other skydiving aircraft, we have 1 seatbelt for every skydiver. So make sure you're on the bench if you're supposed to be, or if it's time to get on the floor, get on the floor, but make sure you're putting your seatbelt on. Here in the back of the aircraft, you can see that we have the 7 seatbelts already attached to the airplane. It's important that we sit 4 people on this side and 3 people on this side to maintain the center of gravity of the aircraft. To help you learn a little bit more about why center of gravity is important, Nate, our pilot, will be with us shortly, coming from the cockpit. We're in the aircraft here with Christy, who are going to demonstrate proper seatbelt usage. Now, Christy doesn't have all the gear she needs to go on a skydive because we're not really taking off. We just want to demonstrate how to appropriately use the seatbelt. So, Christy, go ahead and put that seatbelt on like you normally would. Notice she's putting it through her harness, not her chest strap. The leg strap is also an appropriate place to put it. Now, one of the things that Christy didn't do was tighten up the seatbelt. That's one thing that we do want to encourage everybody to do. Without a tight seatbelt, she now has the ability to come forward this much, which makes her a hazard to other people on the aircraft. So what we'll ask Christy to do is tighten up that seatbelt so it's nice and tight, not so it's uncomfortable, but just enough so that she's not going to be able to move around the aircraft.
Can't tighten the seatbelt.
Sometimes you need a little bit of help to tighten up your seatbelt. So I'm just going to help Christy here tighten up the seatbelt, and that's much, much better. Notice Christy's seatbelt. She threaded the skinny part through her harness instead of the latch part. This is a really good idea to do in case you need to exit the aircraft quickly. If Christy needed to undo this very fast, notice she would pop the buckle, and then she can pull that strap right through and doesn't have to worry about the big latch part getting stuck on her harness. So in the back of the plane we can fit 7 skydivers, 4 on this side and 3 on this side. Dan and Tim are going to come in and show you the wrong way to sit in the back of the airplane. Dan, Tim, come join us. And notice once they're sitting down, they will put their seatbelts on. Now, as you can see, Tim is having a hard time, and we really wouldn't be able to put a 4th person on this side. And the reason for that is my good friend Dan here likes to stretch out. Notice how much room Dan is taking. He's taken up almost 2.5 people's spots, which really makes it difficult for Tim to get room in the plane. And it would be impossible for us to fit a 4th person, which really would be going in between Tim and Dan. So let's actually tighten this up and show you how you should be sitting in the back of this airplane. So we're going to have Christy tighten up, back up with her rig vertical. Dan is going to back up, put his rig vertical, which then allows plenty of room for Tim to slide in. Notice we've got our 3 skydivers all here in a row, and if we did have to fit a 4th in here, there would be plenty of room for me to come in and take the 4th slot on this side of the airplane. Hey Nate! Come talk to us about center of gravity.
Alright, well, aircraft center of gravity is revolving around the CG of the aircraft, which is right here, usually in about the middle. The most important thing you can do as a jumper is try to spread the weight evenly. We're most concerned with weight forward and back, but we're also concerned with weight a little bit side to side. The best thing you can do is just try to have an even number of people sitting on either side of the aircraft, and if it's not a full load, just spread out, make yourselves comfortable, and that works really well.
So let's debrief real quick. We learned how to fill the plane when we have 21 skydivers. There should be 7 people on each bench and 7 people on the floor. Remember, when you get in the aircraft, give a quick count to how many people are on the bench to see if you need to be one of those people on the bench. Once you find your seat, remember to put your seatbelt on. It's a great idea to put that flat part of the seatbelt through your harness instead of the buckle part. That way, to undo the buckle, it'll be much easier to have that slide out. We learned the proper way to sit on the floor so we can fit all 7 people comfortably, and Nate joined us to talk to us about center of gravity of the aircraft. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Brian Touhey, and that's our video.